for beautifying downtown Lowell. Through conversations with them, they've indicated they'd like to use these funds to place planter boxes on the bridge rail over the flat river on Main Street. As we know, the bridges over the river on M21 are the state. I contacted our permit person, Kerwin Keene at MDOT, and asked him his thoughts on it, and he talked to his bridge people, and they said they didn't see a problem with it. We still have to do the permit and everything and take care of them, but they were on board with it as well. So the Garden Club looked at ideas to put the boxes on the rail. They looked at several different types of materials, and they fell back to some sort of a metal box that, because of long lasting and more durable, hopefully stay looking nice for many years to come. Looked at trying to do something symmetrical on the two different bridges that are there. The east side is longer, and it's amazing how, if you look at the bridge, you see that they have these like sections of railing together. They're all different lengths, and it's just kind of hard to symmetrically put it. If you look at the drawings I put on there, they kind of drew them on there. It's all going to be a field adjustment to make them look nice. The idea being, come up with a bracket to secure them to the bridge, but not make them permanent on there, because there might be needs to take them down. I know I've already talked with King Building about that, for them to have access to their dams without busting them. So they wouldn't be permanent, they'd be secured on there enough so that they stay, plus with some irrigation on the backside. Again, we looked at the east bridges. East Bridge, north and south side are about the same length, so they can get about 2 boxes on each. And then the other side, the north side, would have 4 boxes because it's longer than the south side of 3. And that just makes it look symmetrical. So there's 11 flower boxes involved. And again, we looked at what would work best as far as durability and looks and such. And they just the Garden Club liked the idea of going with the metal boxes. And again, we talked to them about that. First idea was to, as we have with the benches, to put Lowell written on the sides of them. But then as they were doing their discussion, talking about their flowers, they thought, hey, it's better just to keep them simple black and then let the colors of the flowers really define the area for that. Talked to Joe Lynch from Lynch Metal Fabrication. They're the ones that did build the benches and the trash cans for us. And he gave us a quote of $560 per planter and $103 per bracket, figuring 2 brackets per planter. Total amount for 11 flower boxes and 22 brackets comes to $8,426. We still have to put the irrigation in. We're going to look at tapping in. There's underground irrigation already in areas on either side of the bridge. We're looking at tapping into that, running irrigation lines on the Riverside or outside of the bridge so you don't see it while you're walking, and then put some sort of weeping type irrigation into the planters. And the boxes themselves will have drain holes, so we get a day like today where it rains all day, while they'll fill up with water, they still will drain out and kill the flowers, if you will. So that's where we're at with this. And we'd like to get moving on this so we get these things constructed so we can get them put in and installed by the time late spring gets here, probably Mother's Day or thereafter, before you really want to plant anything, because of, you never know when you get that last frost in. The group, the Flower Club, would take care of all that. We're just trying to help them by getting this money spent and the boxes built. Now, one thing I do want to mention, the brackets themselves, it's going to take some field work to make them fit right. As you looked at my sketch there, the actual, it's a pretty wide rail, and it comes up and then goes out and over. We don't want to put any holes in it, and that won't allow that. So we got to secure it somehow to that, so we have to still work through that end of it. But Joe felt, Mr. Lynch felt that would be a nice challenge for him. He's really looking forward to helping us with that.
I really like the look of these. They almost look historic, like they need to be on the bridge.
Speaking of historic, earlier went to the Historical Commission for discussion on this, and they have unanimously approved that.
Oh, good.
So Dan, in the once these are up, then the garden club would maintain them?
Yeah, I think our DPW's only maintenance on this would be to help them get them up and then make sure the irrigation works. Once they're up, the idea was to year-round have something in there, flowers during the spring, summer, maybe some mums in the fall, and some sort of greeneries and such for the winter months. And then they would always stay up except to take out for the maintenance, or again, if they have to do something with the dam and have to get up tight to that rail, help them out by getting that moved down. But once they're up, once they're in, that should be it on our end. But then, yeah, they're gonna take care of all the plantings on it and weeding it and making sure everything's going good with that.
And I mean, I really do, I want them on there, but I just want to make sure, guys, when they're cleaning the bridges in the wintertime, that
Yeah, there'll be something more we just have to be careful with, just like in front of all the stores, we like to have something out there still, and we understand, it's just one of them things, we just have to be careful with that.
All right, any other questions for Dan? Motion to approve the Lynch metal fabrication quote.
So moved.
I'll support.
Any other discussion? Sue?
Councilmember Salzweedl?
Yes.
Councilmember Yankovic?
Thanks for getting the HTC's approval first. Yes.
Councilmember Chambers?
yes.
Councilmember Groves?
Yes.
And Mayor DeBoer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. New business, item A, Planning Commission annual report. Bruce?
Good evening, council and city manager. You all have the annual report, so I'm not going to read it at all. What I'm going to say is that there, up in the top paragraph, it says there was no joint meetings held with the Lowell Charter Township and Virgins Township, which was true for last year. We do have one scheduled for later on in the spring, and this is an open invitation to all of you to attend. Obviously, with the possible sewer expansion and some of the other emergency vehicles and all the other stuff that we do together, this is a great time to come on and see what all of the planning commissions are looking at and how we can help and what we can do, I guess. So, open invitation. Sue will get you the information as to the date. We did have 12 meetings. And we also had, at those 12 meetings, we did 6 site plan reviews that were approved with conditions. We also did 5 special land uses that were approved with conditions. And one of the things that we did finish this year was the 5-year zoning ordinance update. We'll start on the master plan either this year or next year. Every 5 years you have to update it. And the master plan has been looked at, but it has not been changed really since, I think, '07, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in that area. So it's time to update that. We have made several recommendations to the city council for zoning ordinance changes, which you have acted on, and 1 or 2 that have not been acted on yet, but we're re-looking at that for future discussion. So with that, is there any questions at all about the planning commission, what we've done, what we haven't done, and where we're at?
I'm always impressed by how thorough and knowledgeable everyone on planning seems to be when I attend those meetings. So it's pretty impressive to watch. It doesn't seem like there's any lag where somebody doesn't understand a part of it or whatever. So
We've had
it's
a pretty,
impressive to see.
thank you, we've had a pretty consistent group for a number of years now, and that's helped, and the new members pick it up very quickly, so that's always been a big help too. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The other conversation we had was with Williams and Norris. So our big maps up there on the wall are outdated. A couple years ago, the floodplains all changed.
Yeah.
Andy is gonna make us brand new ones for up here and the one downstairs so that we've got that current.
And all right, let's go to the Lowell Arts. What? Yeah, she's up for the next. Yeah. It's gonna have just to close some streets. She's paying attention. She's on top of that.
So I'm Lorraine Spolligan. I'm with Lowell Arts.
And I'm here tonight to get a road closure request. One of the areas that Lowell Arts is really moving into is, with our strategic planning, is to define how we are helping people with special needs and the seniors in the community. And we are partnering with a group out of Grand Rapids called Artists Creating Together. And their mission is to empower individuals with disabilities to learn, grow, and celebrate through the arts. And one of the really cool things that they have, and I believe all of you in your packets got information on this, is a creative cube. And whether I can show all of you what it looks like, it is a 40-foot semi, I guess it would be called. It's attached to a
The old race trailer, isn't it?
I don't know, I mean, it's like 40 foot long, but it's something that ACT owns, and they bring it to different communities, and it opens up and becomes a big, huge art studio. They either do performances in it or arts activities in it, and it's a great way of bringing the art to different communities. So what the proposal is to bring this 40-foot creative cube to Lowell on Wednesday, May 18, and house it. All of you, I think, got the aerial map on where we would put it. It would be on Riverside, just north of Backwater Cafe, along Lowell Light and Power, Lowell Light and Power's building. And we would have art activities happening within the Creative Cube. We would also have art activities happening at Lowell Arts. That would include both a drumming workshop, some collage painting activities. So we are working with Heather Snyder at Lowell Area Schools, who's their special education instructor, to bring 3 groups out on that day, one from Alto Elementary, one from Cherry Creek, and one from Murray Lake. To spend an hour and a half at Lowell Arts doing 3 different activities, one at the Creative Cube, one at Lowell Arts with a painting collage workshop, and then one with the drumming. And so what we need is Riverside closed off. My understanding is I need your approval to get the road closed off from the north end of Backwater Cafe toward the, I guess it would be where Broadway and Riverside come together, so that we can have this happen. Ideally, what we would do is bring the Creative Cube in the night before, probably around 6 o'clock. And then as soon as our activities were done at the end of the school day, around 3, 4 o'clock, we would remove it. So I have not told any of my neighbors, including my one dear neighbor right there over there, because I wanted to make sure this was all going to work out before I talked to my neighbor businesses and Lowell Light and Power about the activity.
I don't have a problem with it, but I would like to see it not there. I'd like to see it back where when Tanya closes the road down for her garden.
Okay. Where are you referring to?
On the west side of where Light Power Parks?
Yeah, so you know where our dumpster enclosures are, where we always shut Tanya down? Back to there, because to shut that street off, that eliminates one of the turns coming into the parking lot.
So you're saying the aerial map that
Just
I
back
provided you is,
further north.
you want it a bit further north?
Yes.
Okay.
Past the line shack?
No, actually right in front of the line.
Just
shack.
right past the north edge
Not
of
blocking
the
that
parking
parking
lot.
lot, not blocking the parking lot.
So once you're back there, we can put the road close signs up,
Okay.
and it's a safer area. It gives you the parking spaces too on the other side where Light Power's building is, to just have more people mingling.
Okay, I've got can I walk over and, okay, so I better understand where you're referring to. So, so my original thought was the
Correct.
opening for the Creative Cube is here, so people, when the kids get out, they go here and then they walk over to the Lowell Arts.
Correct.
But you want it further this way?
Yeah, because the road closed will go right here.
Okay, okay.
See where those 2 dumpsters are?
Sure, I
And
can
it just,
understand that.
it flows, we found with Tanya in the 2 years Tanya's done it,
Oh, sure,
it flowed
sure.
really well, so.
Okay, okay. Does everybody else understand what he's referring to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm in support of it.
Yeah,
very cool. No, I mean, I'm really excited. If this works out, we'll do this on an annual basis. It'll be a really wonderful partnership with the schools and, you know, with ACT. So,
And we'll have to think about that for the future as that development gets going, construction's there.
Yeah.
well,
Households and condos, whatever, so.
yeah, I mean, I was a bit concerned about that. I don't know if I need to contact the person who's buying that property, whether or not that's going to be an issue this year.
Probably not this year, and
But-
I'll talk to him, but I
But
don't
for
see it.
future years, you know, I could see where that could potentially be a problem. We had talked about doing it in the parking lot, but we were quite concerned about this big rig coming in and what happens if there's a car there. And we just can't get it into the parking lot. So at least for the first year, we can try it this way and see if it works out.
Yeah, because if the restaurants come in there, we always have that nice city parking lot across the street that we could utilize very simply.
Right. I think the biggest thing for us is we want to engage the exhibit that's going to be up during this time is a fiber show. So we want to get Ability Weavers involved with this since they're a neighbor. If we had the parking lot across the street, then you've got the kids going across the street, which is a
But moving it
concern.
further north gives those school buses a bigger drive to turn around into. Because they're not hugging the building trying to get in that south drive. If you're talking about pulling school buses to it.
Well, the school buses are going to have to come into.
So that north drive is wider, I think, isn't it, to get into your parking lot?
You're talking about Riverside? Is that-
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
Yeah,
coming
just
up
shifting
through
it
the
back,
queue.
just makes your whole plant flow a little
Yeah.
better.
Okay.
Because we
Yeah.
watched it with, you know, other groups that go in there. Unfortunately, North Broadway, I still think it could work over there with some light power help. When they took that extension down off the back, they created that big concrete pad, you and I
Right.
back up to it.
Oh, right, yeah, right. Okay.
So,
Yeah, I
you
don't know how
know,
large that is.
as time goes on, I think that's another ideal spot because now you know, with Light Power's permission, that concrete slab sits there. You know,
Okay, is somebody here from Lowell? Is that large enough for a 40
Is that a
foot?
40-footer?
I was thinking parking them,
I,
you know where it jogs over, the parking does?
yeah, I know where you're referring to.
I would
don't
have
think
to-
that's 40 foot.
Yeah, I know our section of it is, we looked at putting some parking spaces in there, and we're gonna struggle to get 5 parking spots in there, so it's a pretty small area, and then, and I wasn't here when the building was there, so I don't know exactly how big it was, but part of that was taken up by the, natural gas regulator station right there as
What I
well.
was talking about. So you got the entrance into Light and Power, the sidewalk, but then it jaunts and it goes in. So when you make that, there's more than that, from that to, you know, the mailbox that sits there.
Well, Marty, I mean, I think let's try this for 1
Yeah,
year
no,
and see how it works out. And then we can kind of look at the dynamics.
Brett's going to pull forward,
Yeah.
Greg's going to start being open and,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, one thing that was really, I know it's getting late for everybody, but one thing, one of our instructors that's going to be doing the kind of collage art workshop at Lowell Arts in our classroom, she has an autistic child, and one of the things that was coming up with the planning is they said, well, why don't you just do this in the parking lot at the school? And she said, no, you know, you need to have these experiences for these kids to have something special that's different. So that's why we really want to make sure this whole thing works out, that they come to our art center, they have something that's new and different for them, something that's kind of unique for them. So, yes, so I appreciate, I mean, I'm assuming I have approval for this.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the street closure of Riverside from 6 PM on Tuesday, May 17th to 6 PM on Wednesday, May 18th.
I'll support.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion, questions for Lori? Sue?
Councilmember Yankovic?
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers?
Yes.
Councilmember Groves?
Yes.
Mayor DeVore?
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl?
Yes.
Now you do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. 622, 722, 822, additional social district licenses.
Yep, with some new restaurants obtaining liquor licenses coming into the downtown in the next few months, the city has received requests from these new entities regarding being added to the social district. We have received 3 requests, and they all fall within the boundaries of the Showboat Social District, and they're as follows: Ripple Restaurant Group, 123 West Main; BSJ Group, which is Junction, that's 301 West Main; and Rio Plano Taqueria, 101 West Main. And so in order for these entities to receive social district endorsements on their liquor licenses, they must fall within the district boundaries and be approved via council resolution. We've attached resolutions 0622 for Ripple, 0722 for Rio Plano Taqueria, and resolution 822 for Junction. And I recommend approval of resolutions 0622, 0722, 0822 as presented. Matt Barrett from Ripple's here if you have any questions for him.
I think that's a pretty easy one. You want them approved individually, Jessica?
No, you know what, you can approve them with one motion and one vote. The only reason we did separate resolutions is because, as you know, the MLCC can be quirky, and if one got kicked back, we didn't want to jeopardize the other two, so only reason there are 3. But you can do a vote to approve all 3 at once.
Okay.
All 3 fall in our district.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
No, they're right in the, they're in the district.
So,
All right, I'll make a motion to approve resolutions 622, 722, and 822.
I'll support.
Any other questions? Sue?
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Groves,
Yes.
Mayor DeWart,
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
and Councilmember Yankovic.
Yes.
All right, approved. Board of Commission reports, Cliff.
Aye.
Jim?
I have a few. The LCTV board met, and we are going to make our recommendations next Monday, the March 7th, to the City Council for approval. Mr. Dennis Kent will be presenting us that. Over at Lowell Light and Power, a lot of things are happening over there. They got online porthole. It works for 99.9% of our population. Unfortunately, we did have one.
Can I ask you a question regarding the online portal?
Yes?
Are you gonna have the Apple Pay? Because there's an icon for it, but you can't click it.
I will look into that.
Thank you.
Yep, so, anyways, it's open. Is it 100% accurate and percentage? No, but they'll work through it and work with us. The board is working on a strategic plan. That is something they're taking very serious. The outage that we face at Low Light Power is 99.99%. So that is excellent. It's very relevant and seldom that we are out without power. So you can hardly get any closer. If we get rid of squirrels in our city, we'd be 100%.
Open season on squirrels.
Right, Charlie? And there's, yeah,
If
so
you
that
want
was
to
it.
drive those guys nuts, do a blink, and it's kind of fun. I've done it before too. Where I just shut the breaker
Now,
off, turn it back
another
on.
thing, Ron over there celebrated his 24th year at Low Light Power
Yes.
just recently too, so that's a huge milestone in 24 years. One thing that the board did is made a decision to change the meetings. They're going to now start meeting on Tuesdays. Unfortunately, I'll be in Myrtle Beach on March 15th, so I need somebody from the board that could possibly fill in on a Tuesday night
March
for a
15th.
2.5-hour meeting.
Guaranteed it's only gonna be 2.5 hours?
No.
On Tuesday, I can.
March
Yeah.
15th, I'll send you a notice on it, Mark.
Yeah, because I haven't been to a board meeting in
Yeah,
forever.
I'd be interested too if you can.
Well, they do have open comments or seating, so somebody in the seating would be good too, so everybody will show up. It'd be nice to see how they
I don't
come
think
in
I've
as a
ever
board.
Jim's gone so
So
long.
I'm fine. We'll probably still get one report, right? That's what I'm hoping with on that part of it. Other than that, that should wrap me up on my reports.
Thank you. Mark?
We had planning commission, we're gonna have a public hearing. We did ask Andy Jim to look at other properties in the area to make sure we do this once and we get everything all done at once. Believe it or not, it was the Kaiser's property that kind of even wasn't even on the radar, so good call, we got it. And we're gonna have public comment, or
Appreciate it.
public hearing next month, and we'll bring it back to this board.
Yeah, sounds great, thanks.
Chambers is next week, but Parks met last week. We'll be heading into planning for the 5-year plan, which I'm looking forward to. Dan was approached by someone from the Lower Grand River Water Trail, which I found pretty interesting. They're looking for cooperation, I guess would be the word. They would like to make our boat launch down at the Grand River there part of the Lower Grand River Water Trail, which Dan could probably do this much better than me. But there are many, many counties that are involved on the Grand River. He knows better than I do. So that was exciting to hear. That comes with opportunities for grants for bathrooms down by the boat launch, which is a real perk. And then the skate park update, which is pretty exciting. They're looking to do a public forum on March 24th. That is to be officially advertised yet. I believe that should be coming in the next week or so. And they put out some big Smith grants, 3 different grants, so they're waiting to hear back from them. So we'll see.
Can I say something about the river trail?
Campground Director Dan, go ahead.
Right now, the Grand River is a water trail, it's official state water trail from the headwaters up to just the side of Portland. From there to Lake Michigan, it's not been designated yet. So there's a group that's gotten together in the Grand Rapids area in Ottawa County, Kent County, Ionia County to finish that. We get pulled in, as Leah said, because we have the boat launch there, plus it goes to our community, and there's a lot of good advantages to being part of trying to help do this, to make it first a state water trail, but I think their ultimate goal is to make it a national water trail, like the Huron River and like the Shiawassee River are already in the state. So, but it's a lot of work. They gotta do a lot of hoops to jump through with the state. They'll get it, but it's just they have to go through all the process. And tomorrow night, from 4 to 7 or 4 to 8, at I think the Everhard Center, somewhere over there, GVSU Seidman building, if it is, they have an open house to discuss that concept. And I think one of the impetuses for pushing this is also this discussion they've been having of taking the dams out of downtown Grand Rapids,
Yeah.
restoring the rapids, if you will. So that all kind of plays into it. But that's what they had a Zoom meeting where they broke it to all the communities, and I brought that information forward. So I'm sure we'll be talking about it more and coming to the council for supporting resolution to help them with this process.
Didn't they come 3 years ago or something?
Yeah,
When Rich was
yeah,
still
yeah,
here,
yeah.
and they wanted their new kayak launches, and
Yep.
he'd shuttle you up to Ada or whatever. I don't remember. I remember the name. I thought they were here. I wonder where we're at. Fire Authority met, what's the date today? 2 Thursdays ago. Approved the budget. Mike's seen it. If you guys want a copy, I'd be happy to get it to you. New fire engine is still on schedule to be delivered hopefully by the end of August this summer, so there'll be a little dedication for that. We added Dave Wickstrom, a local resident, to our fire authority board as the city's new representative. And I think that's all. Yeah, I didn't have any other things. Budget reports or monthly reports, Michael?
Yeah, with the budget, I mean, other than what I've already reported to you, we haven't really had any things jump out that we really had to have thrown us off budget-wise up to this point. I'll mention it in my manager's report about next year, but right now, I mean, biggest thing we're waiting for right now, we should find out any day, is how much we're going to receive for marijuana. I don't know what that is yet, so, but I'm hoping this week.
Okay. City manager's report.
Yeah, a couple things. I reported to you at the last council meeting, issues we were having with River City Cannabis. The good news was that the day or two after that meeting, we had had no odor. However, over the weekend, odor came back. And so they were cited today. Again, an additional $500 citation. And I am working with Jessica. We are starting the process of the next steps if they can't get this in order. I'm working with Jessica on that. We're still trying to sort that out. But Chris, the police department's going to be doing daily inspections to make sure, just kind of like what we did with the biodigester. Just check it every day. And if there's an odor issue, they're going to be cited. So we're working on that. The budget.
Can I ask a question about that? Why do we have that much tolerance for that?
I think Jessica could probably explain this better, but you have to build a case in order to yank their license. You just can't yank their license.
But isn't there already a case? I mean, you have businesses down there that are putting up signs apologizing for a problem and an odor that they didn't cause. I don't understand how it's fair to Shares and Snap and the rest of Tractor Supply and whoever else.
I think Jessica could probably
Also,
explain
it's
better.
not fair, I'm sorry, it's not fair to the other existing marijuana businesses that are doing it right.
Right.
I think initially the thought was to give them an opportunity to cure it, and now we're at the point where that hasn't happened. So now it's time to go
Follow through with the
Yep.
laws
But,
that we're
I
setting.
mean, honestly, these businesses can be very litigious, and revoking their license is a serious thing to do. So we just want to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row.
I appreciate that, I just want to make sure that we're moving forward,
Yeah.
because they knew, number one, what they were getting into. It was discussed when they came to planning, and it was discussed when they came to our meeting. They knew they were moving into a strip mall. The strip mall didn't build around them. And then they knew that there would be a low to no tolerance for this. And the other existing Loom and Premier and Ned's Cafe have had no problem complying. Even when they came for a stay open later permit that we didn't approve, they had no problems complying with the rules set forth. And I think it's undermining to the planning commission for the work they did, and it's undermining to city staff to have to spend time on something that we made abundantly clear we were not going to tolerate.
Right. There was an odor control provision or plan set forth by the planning commission as well, and so I just got that today, and my first thought is we need to see if they're even complying with that, so.
Okay.
Lee, do you have a question?
No, I guess, are they just as perplexed why they can't get a grip on
I think they are.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like to look at
they,
people like they're innocent in
Right.
trying to solve the problem. I like to give people the benefit of doubt. I don't want to just watch somebody's business down the drain because they're having an issue. Maybe we could have foreseen the issue, but I think from my perspective, they thought they had the proper filters to handle this problem, and maybe the problem is fluctuating, and it's an unfortunate situation.
I think that particular one, we spent more time on as a planning commission than any other because of the uniqueness of the building.
Sure.
And again, we were all assured that their odor control was state of the art. That's when Hooper's, we granted them to have a grow facility. I asked to see now what they're using to mitigate the smell, because I feel it's very important that we as a board understand the new technologies as they come along.
Here's what I would like to avoid. The biodigester was in this town. Mike and I and Steve, when he was still here, toured one I guess technically in Wisconsin, right?
yeah.
It's just across the border. That was efficient and beautiful and fantastic. And once you left the vicinity, you couldn't smell anymore.
Right.
And it powered this little town and this goat cheese farm. It was awesome. The technology exists to make something work. This biodigester that we had here did not utilize that. Cut corners, found the cheapest. The quote to build it, the guy said, "I don't know what I'm doing," and they said, "It doesn't matter, you're the cheapest." That's not what meanwhile, while it was litigious and dragged on, and we ended up having to pull all their permits, meanwhile, an entire neighborhood was suffering for years, not suffering in silence either. That's what I don't want to see with these neighboring, existing, longtime businesses. Cher's been in that building for decades.
What do we give them, 3 strikes and they're out, or is there?
Basically, our thought was, my understanding, my interpretation of the ordinance is, and Jessica and I are sorting this out, my interpretation of the ordinance is that there needs to be a hearing to revoke their license. And I have a very hard time administering that hearing because I'm an enforcement officer. So I don't think it's fair for Chris or I to be going out and enforcing the ordinance, which we are, and then also being the ones to revoke their license. So my interpretation of the ordinance is that and this is what we're trying to sort out, is in the event, our thought is if they don't get this under control in another week, we're bringing this to you. And the city council will have a hearing with them, and the city council will determine whether or not to revoke their license.
Deal.
But we're going to give them at least another week.
Are they at least in contact with you, or are
Yes.
they just
Oh, yeah.
taking the order and paying the fine
No,
and then saying,
no.
hey, we'll
No,
fix
they're,
it?
they're in contact.
All right.
No, and honestly, I can, in their defense, the odor over the weekend, it was smelled on Saturday. I'll be the one to admit it. I smelled it. Sunday, the odor went away. Monday, the odor came back, and I had talked with the businesses, and they smelled it too. It wasn't just me. And so they were cited today. And our officer went over there this morning to cite them, and they smelled odor when they were there. When I went there this afternoon to Snap Fitness, there was no odor. So, I mean, they are, and we are in communication. I think they're trying, but trying isn't good enough. There needs to be no odor. And and honestly, we're spending a lot of time on this right now.
I would be more apt to accept trying if they were a standalone building and only them and their customers were being affected. Also, it's pretty foreseeable, wouldn't you think, to put a business like that in a strip mall? I can't imagine, you can't say, well, we didn't see this coming. Well, how do you not see it?
One thing that might temper you a little bit, there's a barbecue place next to my place. I was there first for many years. When they opened up, I had to call the cops 2 or 3 times. There were times when I had a blue haze in my showroom. And, you know, it wasn't like smelling somebody grilling a steak. It was exhaust. And it took them a while, but they got rid of it. And that's why I'm not quite as quick to smack them, because there's barbecue places everywhere.
They had 6 months of success where there was nothing happening, or more. And all
mean-
of a sudden,
Well, no, because they didn't start their operation until November. They were approved in January, but they didn't start anything until November.
I thought they were growing them during the summer months.
No, that was Premier.
Oh, Premier.
But no, they started growing probably, I would say, in the fall. And we gave them some informal notices in the fall. Hey, get this under control. And they did.
And you know the plants don't start getting that smell until they're fully budded.
Correct.
Is which causes that.
Correct.
Right, Chris?
Has anybody checked his electric bill?
Hey, I can have 12 plants. I'm legally at 12.
His
Wow.
basement lights glow.
How do you count?
So again, I think the planning commission did anticipate this and
Yeah.
Right.
hence made them come back and provide an extra tight odor control plan.
Yeah.
So the first thing we need to do, I think, is figure out, are you even complying with this?
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, and the biggest thing we have to be is we have to be thorough, because as Jessica said, we're going to get sued, and so we better be right.
Yeah, but we need to set the bar too for what's acceptable.
That's
for all
right,
these
and we're
other
gonna,
things.
we're gonna develop due process
Consistency.
to
Yeah.
that point, yeah.
Right. So
Sorry to interrupt.
that's fine. Budget, we are starting. Staff is starting the budget process. I'm starting to get projections. I haven't looked at all of them yet. The big one is real property taxes. We've seen approximately $141,000 increase for the general fund for this year. Now, I don't know how inflation's going to eat at that, but we are starting the process. I don't know if, I haven't really talked to you about the budget hearing this year. We normally have it on a Saturday and we usually knock it out in about 3 hours. I didn't know if you wanted to do that again this year. If we did that, I was thinking the last Saturday in April, which I believe is April 30th. Or if we wanted to do it, if we wanted to maybe do it on a weeknight, I didn't know if you wanted to do that, because it's something we could, I know I already have one person who can't attend on the 30th.
I'll be in Buffalo.
Okay. I don't know if maybe that's, we want to maybe have it during a weeknight. I mean, we could probably knock it out. Maybe it'd be easier than, to give up a Saturday to do it. So, I didn't know what you thought about that.
As
Get
far,
back with you.
Yeah, no, I don't need an answer tonight.
as far as weeknights, Mondays are really the best.
Which that is also that is an off Monday, so that Monday, the 25th is an off Monday, so
Okay.
you could.
That's best for you too, right, Cliff? You're not with it.
Yeah, Mondays are good.
Okay.
Maybe we'll all check Monday the 25th, and if that doesn't work, there's no planning, right? There's second Monday?
No, that's not that.
Yeah, that's a empty,
That's our fourth Monday, so.
That'd be awesome. If everybody can make that work, we can do that. It's not only for Buffalo till the 27th, so.
Okay.
I'm gonna be in the mayor's favorite city, but I can be back Monday evening.
You going to Toronto?
You just ruined his whole night.
It's such a good
Aren't
movie.
aren't you a big fan of the Winnipeg Raptors?
That is not a thing that exists.
I know hockey like back in the hand.
And obviously, we're monitoring the river. I don't think we're going to have any issues, but we've been monitoring it in case there was an issue. I don't think there's going to be any, and that's all I have.
Okay, no appointments, council comments, Cliff?
Hey, maybe I didn't have a lot of commission meetings and stuff, but I helped choose we got a great lineup for the summer concerts. Rick Cease did a great job. We got the Accidentals coming to Lowell. They're big. And we also got a group from Chicago that has like 100 and some thousand, 101 or 120,000 followers on Facebook. So we got a good season.
Jim?
I don't know how Dan's gonna do it, but I don't know if there's enough coal patch in the United States to fix the holes currently that are popping up. And it's only gonna get worse as it gets colder and rainy and pushing out, so
Days like
my
today,
hat's
we're
off to
gonna-
you
Thank
for what you have to deal with that coming up.
Just to give you a heads up, we talked about this earlier today at DPW, and our goal tomorrow is to have 2 crews out, trying to get as much done as we can. But again, days like today are probably worse for potholes than any other time during winter, because the water gets in there.
I've seen them out doing some,
Yeah,
and
we're
it's-
gonna hit a hard one.
I just hope that you have enough coal patch, because there's a lot. I talked to Mike, and we are not going to be having a booth this year at the expo, and that's coming up in March?
Yep.
There's a lot of other good things to do, so, yep, I'm already that. That's it for me.
Okay. Leah? Okay. I don't have anything. Marty, do you have anything?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. So, it is our police chief's.
We didn't tell you.
Oh, with fire too.
Wait, Dan, your turn's coming up.
All right. So let's sing Chief happy birthday.
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chief. Happy birthday to you.
Do you want to do that?
When I see you pulled over tomorrow, I'll know why.
Yeah. But then you drive a great big white dually truck. I know your wife works.
See, I'm not the only one who can give really good rewards to people for their. Sounds like we can do the closed session for labor negotiations at the next meeting.
Yes.
Unless anybody really wants to stay.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, I will make a motion to adjourn at 9:19 p.m.
I'm staying. Huh? Can say
I need
no.
you to support. Okay. Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Jim can stay.
Yep, I'm going to.
Jim makes that